Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manoਭीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति शपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhamnita Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Pancha Kalpataru Hascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanang Pavanebhava Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण. So let us start our class on chapter 14. Today we will see how much we can complete the chapter 14. So last class we have discussed on, we have started the introduction of the chapter 14 has been done, and connection with chapter 13 has been discussed, and the first verse purport has been discussed. And in that we have discussed one particular thing, why what is the importance of philosophical speculation. Here Srila Prabhupada was welcoming philosophical speculation. That means he was actually uh, he was actually wanting that devotees should apply their intelligence and understand the philosophical conclusion. সিদ্ধান্ত বলিয়া চিত্তে না করিয়া অলস, ইহা হইতে সুদৃঢ় হয়, ইহা হইতে কৃষ্ণ লাগে সুদৃঢ় মানুষ. So if we want to tightly or very deeply get connected with Krishna, we need to have firm and clear understanding about the conclusion. So today we will discuss about the next verse. And I have already shared that particular part of the letter written by Srila Prabhupada, the difference between the philosophical speculation and mental speculation. And we have also discussed about why Krishna is here told that this knowledge is the knowledge that will be given in this chapter is the highest knowledge. The highest knowledge is with respect to uh, with respect to uh, Prakriti and Jiva and their entanglement by the guna. So regarding this, we can see uh, about what Baladev Vidyabhushan has given. Actually, this is surrender unto me. Gurujan Prabhu has written this thing. Krishna uses the word bhu again to indicate that he will repeat the knowledge he mentioned in Bhagavad Gita chapter 13:22. How is this knowledge the best of all? How this is knowledge best of all? Because already best of all knowledge has been discussed in chapter 9. This is Baladev Vidyabhushan explained Krishna's words. Again, I will speak a kind of knowledge different from what I have spoken so far. It deals specifically with the modes of nature. It is the best of knowledge about Prakriti and Jiva, and it resembles the distillation of yogurt from milk. So this is how Baladev Vidyabhushan has commented. The main important part is that this is the best of knowledge of all kind of knowledge about Prakriti and Jiva. This we need to understand. It is not the best of knowledge about the absolute truth, because the absolute truth and how we should engage in devotional service, that has been discussed in the middle section, particularly in chapter 9 thoroughly, and in chapter 12 also. So with that respect, it is not the best, but with that is what Baladev Vidyabhushan has explained. But regarding the Jiva and Prakriti, so we need to understand this particular section following the footstep of the previous Acharya's commentary, from the Acharya's commentary. Otherwise, it is very difficult to understand. Okay. So we need to understand the main import of this knowledge. Ah. So that is what we have to understand. That is how we have to understand about the supremacy of the knowledge, how it is the best of knowledge. So now Krishna is in second verse is telling, Idam Gyanam Upasritta Mamo Shadharmam Agata Shargeyopi Now Pujayante Pralayana Vatayanti Cha. By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature like my own. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution. Okay. So here Krishna is telling what is the outcome. One outcome he has already told about the knowledge, that what will happen, that they will attain the supreme about Param Siddhim Nitokara. Param Siddhim will have attained the supreme perfection. So regarding this also, now what is that supreme perfect? What is that supreme perfection? That Krishna is further explaining. Idam Jnanam Upasrito Mamo Sadharmam Agata. Mamo Sadharmam Agata. Sadharmam Agata, same nature. Okay. So regarding this, also Baladev Vidyabhushan explained that this means that Sharupa Mukti, actually here. And regarding this also, Baladev Vidyabhushan has written that this can be attained only by worshipping the feet of the Supreme Spiritual Master. We can actually understand the real import of this knowledge, real meaning of this knowledge, tattva, we can understand by the mercy of the Spiritual Master. Here, obviously, Prabhupada is clarifying that this does not mean that the living entity is losing the identity. Okay. So we need to understand that living entity never loses the identity. Rather, he has the same identity. He attains the same form, Sharupa Mukti, just like Vaikuntha. So Sharupa Mukti stage is Vaikuntha Loka. So if we just understand this knowledge, so this knowledge will elevate us up to Vaikuntha. That is what Baladev Vidyabhushan is hinting in one sense. Okay. So here Prabhupada is actually explaining attaining transcendental nature like my own means one acquires qualitative equality with the Supreme Person of Godhead, freedom from birth and death. And another is that he also attained, like as Krishna is Supreme Person of Godhead is free from birth and death, he also happens. One does not lose his identity as individual soul. Liberated soul in transcendental planets always look to the lotus feet of the Supreme Being, being engaged in his loving service. Okay. So from this we can actually understand that this is actually the Vaikuntha atmosphere, where devotees are always engaged in the loving service of the Lord. But we know that Goloka Vrindavan situation is something different. There, Nanda Maharaj sometimes orders Krishna to bring the shoe. This kind of reciprocation is never available in Vaikuntha Loka. Okay. So this knowledge, in one sense, in that sense, will take us up to Vaikuntha platform. So that is also a spiritual platform. That is also a very high goal. So it is not that we are concluding that this is a belittling thing. So this is like, and that's why in one commentary Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written that like Shanakadi rishis. Here the rishis has been explained in the previous verse. Tadkatta Munayo Sharve. Munayo means mainly the rishis like Shanakadi rishis. So Shanakadi rishis has reached up to the Vaikuntha planet. They can understand. And they always worship Supreme Personality of Godhead with awe and reverence. Okay. But Goloka Vrindavan, in the Goloka Vrindavan, the reciprocation between devotee and the Lord is completely different. In Vaikuntha, Jashoda Ma cannot bind. There is no Jashoda Ma actually. Mother Jashoda is not there in Vaikuntha. Nanda Maharaj is not there in Vaikuntha. So it is a difference. So that is what we need to understand. Okay. 14.3. ममोजो निर्महद् ब्रह्म तस्मिन् गर्भं दधाम्यहं शम्भवो सर्वभूतानां ततो भवति भारत. The rural material substance called Brahman is a source of birth, and it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the birth of all living beings, O son of Bharata. The next verse is like this. So now, particularly this section, that is what we are now studying, it is the liberation and the conditioning of the living entities. First, Krishna is actually glorifying the knowledge, and then now Krishna is actually explaining how this Prakriti, Jiva, and he himself is interrelated. So that is what here Krishna is explaining how the Jiva contact with the Prakriti. This verse number 3 and 4 is like this. This explanation is there. And the intersection of this from verse number 1 to 13 is the conditioning of the soul by the material modes. Okay. This is the section 1 to 13. 14 to 18 is the effect of the conditioning by the modes. What is the effect? First, Krishna is explaining the nature of the binding, how it is bound, how the living entity, Jiva, the pure living entity, transcendental living entity, becomes entangled into the Kshetra, into this Prakriti. So that thing is explained. The first two verses, Krishna glorifies this pure knowledge about this chapter, about this chapter, these three modes of material nature. And the 3 and 4th is the Jiva's contact with the Prakriti, how Jiva is in contact with the Prakriti. 5 to 9, how the material modes bind the pure Jiva. 10 to 13, Krishna will explain, recognizing the prominence of the mode. So that thing will be described in 10 to 13. So now this 3 and 4 section, we are discussing about the how how jiva come in contact with the material nature. I think that concept is already clear. That is that clear, the understanding that how jiva comes in contact with the mode nature, like what happens when this thing has this creation happens, how it is coming, and when the dissolution happens. From Bhagavatam, the idea, little bit idea is clear. No? I'm not, because see this one verse we can spend so much time, but we don't have so much time. So I am touching little bit. We can give cross reference from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Brahma Samhita, Bhagavatam, but that will take so much time. So briefly, I think that conception is clear, that when the creation happens, like when dissolution happens, the jiva goes in a sleeping mode in the body of the Mahavishnu. When the creation is wind up, and when creation is started, it becomes revealed. The jiva again come into the animated world. So this is the creation and dissolution happens. And that is what actually Krishna was mentioning in the previous verse, that ah, previous verse, Sarge opi na upajayante. One is freed from the repeated birth and death. And with that, what will happen? That pralaya na bathayanti cha. With the creation, with the does not experience, that means does not take birth again in universal creation, or experience the path of death at universal dissolution. Okay, no bathayanti. Like some again, we have to come to this, like if the jiva is not liberated, is jiva not liberated, what happens? In the dissolution, it will remain as the sleeping state in the body of the Mahavishnu. And when the creation comes again, it enter into this material world. And when the dissolution happens, again it goes back. So he has to experience this entering, and again entering into the jail, and again waiting for the next creation. So this is a bathayanti. This is the pain jiva has to undergo. Okay, so that is what Krishna is hinting. So, and these are who are those jiva, the rebellious souls who have left Krishna's abode, uh, wanted to enjoy in this material world. So that thing Krishna is referring here, and this jiva, how this jiva is put into this material world, that is Krishna is explaining in this verse number 3. Verse number 3, Krishna is explaining this verse. Mamo Jonir Mahad Brahma, Tashmin Garbham Dadhami Aham. So here, Mamo, my Joni, source of birth, Mahad, the total material existence, Brahma Supreme, Tashmin, in that Garbham pregnancy, Dadhami, create Aham, I, Shambhava, the possibility, Sharva Bhutanam, of all living entity, Tato, thereafter, Bhavati becomes Bharata Samabha. Total material existence, substance called Brahman. This material existence, this Prakriti. Prakriti is like the Om, and where Krishna is giving the seed, is putting the seed, that is seed of living entities, is the source of birth. So this is how Krishna, the Prakriti and Jiva is connected. Now, how Krishna is doing this thing? This is the elaborate explanation given in many places. Simply, Mayadhakshana Prakriti Shuvatasha Characharam. Hitunanana Kunteo Jagata Vipuri Vartate. Mayadhakshana, by the Ikkhan of Mahavishnu, the glands. Okay. So this regarding this glands, so many explanation is there by the Acharyas. This glands is actually you can note down the verses. You can read in your spare time. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.5.26, 3.5, 3.26.19, Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 20, 272 to 273. Okay. And Brahma Samhita, verse number 8. Brahma Samhita, verse number 8 means, I think, chapter 5, verse number 8. So there, these explanations are given in detail. Okay. So I will check if I can show at least some part of it. The Samhita part is important. Let me check if it is available. Yes. You can read. I am not going to elaborately describing this thing. The main gist, what I can say that this Shankarshan, who is as the Karanadakshay Vishnu, glances on the Prakriti, the living entities are entered into that, and that reflection is called the uh, actually the Shiva. Okay, that is how the the connection happens between the Prakriti as the Maya, Prakriti as the Rama, is a embodiment of Durga Devi, and the Shambhu, the Shambhu has impregnate. That is how the Jiva started coming into picture. Okay, this you can see from here. Brahma Samhita, verse number 8, the purport. The Shankarshan possessed of creative desire is the subjective portion of the Krishna taking the initiative in bringing about the birth of the mundane world. Lying in the causal ocean, water as the primeval Purusha avatar, he cast his glance towards Maya, the limited potency. Such glance is efficient cause of the mundane creation. Shambhu, the symbol of masculine mundane procreation, is the dim halo of this reflected effulgence. It is this symbol which is applied to the organ of the generation of Maya, the shadow of Rama or the divine potency. The first phase of the appearance of the mundane desire created by Mahavishnu is called the seminal principle of Mahat or the perverted cognitive faculty. It is this which is identical with the mental principle ripe for procreative activity. The conception of underlying it is that it is the will of the Purusha who creates by using the efficient and mental principles. Efficiency is Maya or the productive feminine organ. The material principle is the Shambhu or the procreative masculine organ. Mahavishnu is Purusha or the dominating divine person wielding the will. Pradhana or the substantive principle in the shape of mundane entity is the material principle. Nature embodying the accommodating principle, Adhara is Maya. The principle of embodied will bringing about the intercourse of the two is the dominating divine person, Purusha is the objective portion of Krishna, the manifester of the mundane world. All of these three are creators. The seed of amorous creative desire is in Goloka is the embodiment of pure cognition. The seed of sex desire to be found in the mundane world is that of Kali, etc., who are the shadows of the divine potency. The former, although it is the prototype of the latter, is located very far from it. The seed of the mundane sex desire is the perverted reflection in the mundane world of the seed of original creative desire. The process of appearance of Shambhu is recorded in the 10th and the 15th slokas. So this is how this entanglement happens. I know this is not very easy thing. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's one purport. Today is the Appearance Day. I just read. Ah, so it is very erudite way he has presented. Bhakti Vinod Thakur has written something. Based on that, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur develops further. So I was reading Bhakti Vinod Thakur's Bengali portion. So it was quite easy to understand the Bengali commentary by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. The Bhakti Chandra Saraswati Thakur takes it into English, and it not very easy, but in the gist, what I understand, I have heard one lecture from Bhakti Sai Maharaj. So he also explained that this glance coming from the Karunadakshay Vishnu is actually the Shambhu, Sadashiv thing, Sadashiv glance. And with that, he actually impregnates the Rama, and by which this this thing happens. So this is a very complicated process, and complicated process, and actually Shambhu becomes the conducive media to bring the living entity into this material world. Mahavishnu is not in direct contact with the material world. Karanadaksha Vishnu. Shambhu is becoming the intermediating media to bring the living entity. This thing we need to understand. So here what Krishna is telling Aham, Aham means actually he is the source of Jiva, but he is not directly interacting with the Prakriti. So that is what actually explained in this purport. Okay, so in further detail, you can read Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 20, 272 and 73. There are also some explanation you will get. And Bhagavatam 2 verse I have referred. So that thing also you can refer. I am repeating again. 3.5.26, 3.26.19. So this is how. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita verse is simple. Shei Purusho Mahapane Kore Abodhano Prakriti Khobito Kore Birjero Adhano Sango Bishesho Abhasho Rupe Prakriti Sparshano Jiva Rupo Bijitate Koila Samarpano. So this we can just have a look. Chaitanya Charitamrita. Actually, the concept of creation, if we want to, if one want to understand, he has to study Bhagavatam, has to study Chaitanya Charitamrita, has to study Brahma Samhita. Then something, some little bit understanding may be clear. Otherwise, it is very difficult. So this material creation is very difficult. This was 2:7. This is the verse. Shei Purusho Mayapane Kore Abodhano Prakriti Kobito Kore Birjero Adhano. When the Supreme Person of God glances over the mental energy, she becomes agitated. At that time, the Lord injects the original semen of the living entity. So this verse has been again here quoted. So you can read. I'm not going detail into it. And then this verse is also there. Shango Bishesho Abhasha Rupe Prakriti Sparshano Jivarupo Beej Tate Koila Samurpan. So beej, this beej is actually Jiva. To impregnate with the seal of the living entity, the Lord himself does not directly touch the material energy, but by his specific functional expansion, he touches the material energy, and thus the living entity, who are his parts and parcel, are independent of the material nature. So this, who is this specific functional expansion? That is actually Shambhu. So that is what here also Prabhupada is giving the reference of Deva. He is Lord Shiva. Okay. Shango Bishesha Rupe. Shango Bishesha Rupe, indicating the form why Lord begets living entity in the material world, is explained herein. He is Lord Shiva. In the Brahma Sutras, it says the Lord Shiva, who is another form of Mahavishnu, is the yogurt. Yogurt is nothing but milk, yet it is not milk. Similarly, Lord Shiva is considered the father of the form of this universe, and the material nature is considered the mother. Okay, the father and mother are known as the Lord Shiva and goddess Durga. Together, Lord Shiva's genitals and vagina of goddess Durga are worshipped as Shiva Linga. This is the origin of the material creation. So this is what actually here uh, explained in this particular verse. So this is how the creation is all about. So this is the correlation between the Prakriti, between the Jiva and the Krishna himself. So Krishna is not directly. So we need to understand Krishna is not directly in touch with the Prakriti. He is in touch with the Prakriti through via media of Lord Shiva. In simple sense, Shiva's various expansion is there. There is Shada Shiva, Shambhu Tattva, Shiva Tattva. Each and every word has a different significant meaning. So we're not getting into detail. Only thing we need to understand here, this particular analogy is important for your exam. The scorpion lays its eggs in the piles of rice, and sometimes it is said that the scorpion is born out of rice. But the rice is not the cause of the scorpion. Actually, the eggs were laid by the mother. Similarly, material nature is not the cause of the birth of the living entities. The seed is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they only seem to come out as the products of the material nature. Thus, every living entity, according to his past activity, has a differently body created by this material nature. So that the entity can enjoy or suffer according to his past. The Lord is the cause of all the manifestation of living entities. It is also, we also think sometimes that a boy, we also take birth from the womb of the mother. So sometimes it is from we are coming from mother only, but no, we the mother can give birth because the father has injected the semen into the womb of the mother. So that's how the living entity comes. Similarly, here also the living entity is coming from the nature because Lord Krishna has given the uh, the bija has given the Garbhadhan. This is the Garbhadhan. Here it is mentioned. This is the Garbhadhan. Okay, but this Garbhadhan has been carried out by the via media of Lord Shiva. That is. Sarvaja text 4. Sarvajonishu konteyo murtayo sambhavanti ja tasam brahma mahadjoni raham bija pradapita. So he is declaring, I am the bija pradapita. He is actually the bija pradapita. Okay. So it should be understood that all the phases of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. So he is establishing the relationship with all the living entities. So we need to understand this thing very clearly. This is the correlation between the Jiva, Krishna, and the Prakriti. So we are entering into the next section. Next section means, so now how we are entangled. The Krishna will now explain the how material modes bind the pure jiva. We are pure jiva. We have nothing to do with this khetra, with this prakriti, but we have entered into it. So how this is the so what is the missing link between this prakriti and the jiva? How jiva is staying here? Because jiva cannot have because jiva is a pure soul, is a transcendental nature, but he is put into this prakriti. How it is so? So that is will Krishna will explain now in this 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What is that missing link? What is that? How it is he is bound into this prakriti. This binding will be clear. Shattam rajastamo iti guno prakriti shambhava nibaddhanti mahabaho dehinam abhayam. Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, Almighty Amdorjuna, he becomes conditioned by these modes. So this is the binding thing. The when it is come in contact, already we have discussed Karana Guna Sangasho, Sadasajani Janmashu. So this is the binding factor: goodness, passion, and ignorance. So this is how the living entity is in touch. So this is the general description, and then Krishna will describe about Sattva-guna. Tatra Sattam Nirmalat Tat Prakasha Prakashatam Anamayam Sukha Sangena Baddhanti Gyan Sangena Chana Sukha Sangena Baddhanti. So how living entity is getting entangled by the mode of goodness, or sinless one, the mode of goodness being purer than the other is illuminating, and it frees one from all sinful reaction. Those situated in that mode become conditioned by the sense of happiness and knowledge. So what is this knowledge? You have already understood the knowledge, jnana. What is the jnana? Jnana, we have understood the Ramanitam, the process of Jnana has been explained in 13.8 to 12. But this Jnana is not that Jnana. This Jnana is about mundane Jnana. It is illuminating because it has a understanding, because this Jnana means the people are intelligent. They are exercising the Jnana in a different field. So Prabhupada is explaining here, this is here the mode of goodness is like the various scientists, the poets, they are very happy. They don't have to undergo the struggle for existence. That what we say that about the existence they need not to worry about. They are existing happily. So this knowledge is about mundane knowledge. So they are proud of the mundane knowledge, and this pride binds them, and they are happy. They don't have much worry about the financial things. They don't. They are happy in their well-to-do things. So they don't undergo. So that's that happiness. So I'm happy. I am having knowledge. I am respected by my society. So this is an attachment. They lead a very what I can say aristocratic life. So this is the attachment for Shatruguna. But this, what is the positive part? One, the mode of goodness being purer than the other is illuminating, and it frees one from all sinful reactions. So this only one drawback is Shuka Sangana Badhanti Jnana Sangana Cha. This Shuka Sanga and Jnana Sanga. This thing is binding. But this thing, apart from that, but this is a Prakashakam Anamayam. So this is illuminating, and it can uh, Nirmalantat, being purest in the material world, uh, and Prakashakam, illuminating Anamaya without any sinful reaction. So the Shattaguna person does not commit any sin, they abide by the scriptural injunctions. Normal, ordinary. They can by abiding by the scriptural injunction, that is, they follow Varnashram principles. They follow Varnashram principles. Varnashram principles bring us up to Shattaguna, following the rules and regulation, following four regulatory principles. In a gist, in today's context, following Varnashram principle means at least following the four regulatory principle. So this four regulatory principle, for those who are following this thing, they are not committing sin. So they are sinless in one sense. So following four, sometimes we think following four regulatory principle is coming to the devotional stage. No, it is not devotional stage. It is just Shakti in a Shattaguna stage, where here we become sinless. This is the platform from where we can start the journey for the pure goodness. That is Shuddha Sattva. That is transcendental. Chanting Krishna's holy name is a transcendental. Discharging devotional service is transcendental. And we can do it purely when we come to that, when we stand on that stage. When we discharge the devotional service standing on that stage, it will become pure. If we stand on the sinful stage, we may start devotional service standing on a sinful stage, because when we enter into the bhakti, we may have some bad habits, we may have some propensity to commit sinful activities. That's all right. But in due course of time, we need to understand that this is actually restricting me from progressing in Krishna consciousness. So this is what. So Shattaguna has can facilitate us into a sinless platform, and that can happen by following four regulatory principle. Four regulatory principle has nothing to do with pure devotional service, nothing to do directly, but that is only facilitating a platform. We can stand on it. That's it. But that is itself is a very important thing. Okay, following four regulatory principle into this scenario. So here Prabhupada is saying becoming a philosopher, scientist, and poet is a gross example of like that, because all the philosophers, scientists, and poet may not follow four regulatory principle. But regarding the Shukha and Jnana, Prabhupada is giving this example. Okay. So like that. So then comes verse number 14.7. The 7 verse is describing about the Rajaguna. What is Rajaguna? Rajaragatmakam vidhi Trishna Sango Sambhavam Tannibadhanti Kaunteya Karma Sangena Dehinam. So here the Rajaguna is ki Rajaragatmakam vidhi Trishna Sanga Samudbhavam. The mood of passion is born of unlimited desires and longing. O son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. So the mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longing. So in the mode of passion, we have desire, unlimited desire, one desire after another. One desire after another desire. One desire after another desire will come up. So that is the point of that is the sign of passion. Because this is the this is coming from where? Kamo esho, krodho esho, rajoguna samam. This kamuna is coming. This kamo esho, krodho esho, rajoguna samam. So that is the rajoguna. So kamuna will be unlimited. Desire will be there. And when the desire will be restricted, because in this material world we are not the actual doer. Okay, we will explain how the doership works in further chapters. So there are so many 5 factors are there. We are one of them. Our desire is one of them. But all our desires are not fulfilled. So as soon as the desires are not fulfilled, the krodho comes. So that is how this bind us. Okay, and this is and we have and what is the binding, and that's why we try to struggle hard. We need to do, okay, this endeavor is baffled, we will say another one. This is another one. So I have getting success in this way, I will get success further. I will do more work. I will work harder. So this karma sangena they, so they want to work so much. So they become workaholic. So like that they continue their passionate life. And then comes the modern civilization is considered to be the advanced standard of the mode of passion. But the Vedic civilization was considered advanced in the standard of mode of goodness. Okay. So that is the difference. And in some cases, modern civilization is also advanced in the standard of mode of ignorance also. So many things, the problems are happening. Yes, obviously that is not the sign of progress. So verse number 8 is about tamoguna. Tamasta ajnana jambithi mohanam sarvadehinam pramada alasya nidrabhis tannibadhanti bharata. So, son of Bharata, know that the mode of darkness, born of ignorance, is the delusion of all embodied living entities. The result of this mode are madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul. So there are 3 indications. Madness means pramatta. So he is pramada. He is mad after sense enjoyment, forgetting about rules and regulations. In passion, they at least follow some rules and regulations, but they are very passionate. Okay, but in mode of ignorance, one completely forgets about do's and don'ts. They don't care about do's and don'ts. So they become mad for something. And then there is alusha. They become lazy. And there is nidra, sleeping. Prabhupada is to say sleeping 40 hours in 24 hours, something like that. So sleeping 10 hours, they think that this is very advancement, sleeping for so many hours. So in this word, the specific application of the word tu is very significant. Tu. Tamostu ajnana jambitti. What is the tu? This means that the mode of ignorance is a very peculiar qualification of the embodied soul. The mode of ignorance is just opposite of the mode of goodness. Just opposite of the mode of goodness. Not telling the opposite of the mode of passion. It is telling opposite of the goodness. In the mode of goodness, by development of knowledge, one can understand what is what. But the mode of ignorance is just the opposite. Ajnanajam. It is jnana sangena. It is ajnanajam. Okay. Everyone under the spell of mode of ignorance becomes mad, and madman cannot understand what is what. So it is also opposite to the passion also. It is opposite for both the passion, because in passion one becomes karma sangena. So here it becomes lazy. and is sleeping. In the passion mode, one becomes very active. So in that sense, this is the opposite to both passion and ignorance. Passion and goodness. So text 9. Shattam shukha sanjayate rajakarmani bharata jnanam abritta tu tamo pramade sanjayate uta. O son of Bharata, the mode of goodness condition one to happiness, passion condition one to fruitive action, and ignorance covering one is knowledge. One's knowledge binds one to madness. So this is what happens, the gross effect. In this verse, Krishna is summarizing the how the binding, how the condition living entity conditioned in this mode of uh, in the three modes. That is what Krishna is summarizing. The goodness condition one to happiness. So this is the condition to happiness. So we become happy and we become reluctant to uh, go beyond that stage. Morality, I am honest, I am doing everything. Mundane morality, mundane honesty is there. So in that, sometimes we become attached. And we know about the Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj was also attached to that thing. I will not speak lie. Why Krishna is asking me to speak to lie? So this is what is the problem with the Sattva. And the passion, the problem is embodied by Lord, embodied by Ravana. How Ravana becomes passionate and was has kidnapped Mother Sita. So this is how it is working. And ignorance. So we can see today's world, everyone is addicting in so many things. They forget about the real knowledge they are following. They are thinking science as the science. Okay, and that is how they become mad in so many bad habits. Okay, so this is about the mode of. This is how the material modes bind the pure jiva. So now from 10 to 13, we will discuss about the recognizing the prominence of mode, the various prominence. रजस्तमोचा अभिभूव सत्तम भवति भारत रजो सत्तम तमो चैव तमो सत्तम रजस्तथा. So here Krishna is telling that sometimes the mode of goodness become prominent, defeating the mode of passion and ignorance. O son of Bharata, sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and at other times ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy. So that is, we need to understand the why here this mode of goodness is also not called as a mode of, as a pure goodness. Here, these modes are not in a pure state. Mode of passion and ignorance is not a pure at all. It is impure. It is not at all impure. It is the dirt. It is the anartha. But goodness is also in touch with this mode of passion and ignorance. That's why it get attached, binding. The real knowledge, when it is free from mode of ignorance and passion, it will come into the bracket of that 13.8 to 12. But if it is not in touch with that, because in that particular section, what is the most important thing? That unalloyed devotional service is there. When unalloyed devotional service is there, then that jnana becomes liberating. But otherwise, the jnana in the mode of goodness is binding, will bind us. So that's why this is not pure. So, and same with the passion also. A person is the passion is not also purely passion. That is not the case. It is the mixture. So this how we are bind with the twisted wire. Have you seen the twisted wire? It is not one single rope we have been bound. We are bound with the twisted wire. And that's why there are so many different kind of living entities out there. Why there is so many varieties? Jalajana, Vulakshani. So why this is there? The 84 lakh species, because there are actually, it is called that 81 kinds of species are there. And within that species, there are various kind of variations. How it is 81 is coming? Prabhupada explains that 3 into 3, 9, 9 into 9, 81. Okay. And some other variations, it become 84 lakhs total. Total species. In that 81 kind, there are various sub varieties are there. With that, it becomes 84. The main varieties are 81 kinds. So that's why we call it 84 lakh species are there. So this is how this permutation combination of these modes creates various kind of species. So now Krishna will explain what happens when goodness become prominent, and then Krishna will explain when passion becoming prominent and when ignorance become prominent. So when we say some person is in mode of goodness, that doesn't mean he is a pure goodness. The goodness is prominent, and that gives rise to these qualities that Krishna will now explain in this next 3 verses. सर्वदारेषु देहस्मिन् प्रकाशो उपजायते ज्ञानं यदा तदा विद्यद्वृद्धिं सत्त्वमिति उत vibrittham sattamiti uta. The manifestation of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. So that is the point. The knowledge is the most important thing. So there are 9 gates in the body. We have already described in the other previous sections. Navapura Deho, the 9-gated city. The living entity stays in a 9-gated city. So 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, mouth, the genitals, and the anus. When every gate is illuminated by symptoms of goodness, it should be understood that one has developed the mode of goodness. This is the thing. So that means the bodily function will not have any disturbance. This is the bodily functions. So the life of a person who is in whose life the mode of goodness is prominent, his life will be very systematic. He will not cause any disharmony in his body. Disharmony means it will not disturb the physical harmony of the body. That is the biological clock. He will follow a routine. He will wake up early in the morning, go to bed early, take rest, take the food, because food creates disturbance to our body. So he will use the eyes and nose, ears, nostril in a proper way, genitals, anus, everything in a proper way. So that's how all the gates will be illuminated by the knowledge. So that's how he becomes. That is the sign of the mode of person who is manifesting the mode of goodness. Now, the verse 12 is there. Verse 12 is when the mode of passion is increases. Lobha pravittir arambha karmunam asama spriha rajas etani jayante vibrithe bharata rishavyo. So, O chief of the Bharata, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptom of great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, and uncontrolled desire and hankering develop. So this is the sign. It is quite natural, because we become karma sangha. We want to work very hard. So how we can work if there is no attachment? And we want result. That is a fruitive activity. We want result. And that's why we do intense endeavor. And we have uncontrollable desire. I want to achieve this. I want to accumulate this much money. And so much hankering and desire is there. So that is how we can understand that people in the modern civilization, they are so much passionate. They are doing so many things out of this passionate way of living. The lifestyle is very passionate. And this is how what has been considered in today's context a very high standard of living. So they have a very passionate lifestyle. So this is just the exhibition of the mode of passion, nothing else. And then when ignorance increases, what happens to that place? Aprakasho aprivittischa pramado moho evacha tamusha etani jayante vibrithe kurunandana. When there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, so son of Kuru, darkness, inertia, madness, and illusions are manifested. Just we need to remember that Arjuna is also afflicted with this kind of symptoms. Arjuna wanted to decline that I don't want to battle. Hmm. So he was going, he was not discharging his duty. So this is a sign of mode of ignorance. Okay. So that is what Krishna here particularly said, Oh Kurunandana. Krishna is hinting, Oh Kurunandana, because it is related to your present situation. You are afflicted with mode of ignorance. Yes, we know Arjuna is just enacting by the will of Krishna. It is actually Krishna is telling to us. Hmm. By reminding him as a Oh Kurunandana, Krishna is telling that you are a Kurunandana. You have a great responsibility. You cannot act like a ignorant person. Okay. So when there is an increase in the, and previously also Krishna said, Bharata Rishabha, Krishna was addressing, you as a Bharata Rishabha, you cannot act as a passionate person. So you should act, you should come to the platform of Shattaguna and then you act as a devotional service to me. So he was hinting towards him. So Krishna was never forgetful of the condition of the Arjuna. And in that way, Krishna, we may seem that this is sometimes extra knowledge Krishna is giving to Arjuna. No, no. Krishna does not have any time to speak something extra. He was speaking exactly to the point, very brief, firm, the required knowledge that Arjuna required to overcome his situation. Vishada Yoga, the first chapter has started that condition. He was rescuing Arjuna from that Vishada condition. So this is the symptom of ignorance. They don't want to act. Uh, So madness is there, illusion is there. Completely, the Jnana is completely covered. There is no Jnana. Knowledge is there. So when there is no illuminating knowledge, illumination knowledge is absent, one is mode of ignorance, does not work by regulative principles. He wants to act whimsically for no purpose. Sometimes he's sleeping for 20 hours, not working. Sometimes he is after something which is harmful for him. So completely illusion, complete, I mean, peculiar situation in the mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Completely against the nature of the soul. Soul's pure nature does not have any correlation with this kind of situation. So completely ignorant. The life is, although consciousness is going on, life is almost inactive. They are only just existing. There is no life in one sense. So the next section is about the effect of the condition of the modes, by the modes, the 14 to 18. We will complete this section and then we will stop. I think a little bit part will be that we will do the next class, the Saturday, and then we will end. Jada shatte pravidhetu prolayam yati deha prita taduttam vidam lokan amulan pratipaddate. Translation. When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets of the great stage. So mode of goodness, what is the effect? When one is practicing mode of goodness, he will be elevated to the higher planets of the great sages. Okay. So this is the destination of the mode of goodness. And what is the effect of mode of passion? Rajashi pralayam gatta karma sange sujayate tathi pralinios tamoshi mudha joni sujayate. So when one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities. Because his tendency is to render fruitive activities, to engage himself in the fruitive activities. So he will enter into that society. And when one dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom. So this mode of ignorance is very dangerous, very peculiar, precarious, abominable condition. So we need to safeguard ourselves from this mode of ignorance. And how we can enter into mode of ignorance? By laziness, by sleeping more than necessary, by becoming unnecessarily, by becoming inactive, taking without having any action, proper action, violating four regulative principles. We need to understand this thing, that if we remain in the mode of ignorance, our life will become very miserable, and our destination is very bad, very dangerous destination. So and we have to enter into the animal kingdom. So here Krishna is telling, I'm just not reading the translation parts, I'm just going to the translation. The result of the pious action is pure and is said to be the mode of goodness, but action done in the mode of passion results in misery. And action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness. So this is the difference. One is misery, the passionable result will misery because they will endeavor for so many things, but they will be baffled. They will not be always successful. So that will result into miserable situation. They will act for some project and then the project will be a failure. So that is how they will be defeated due to their ignorance. Because in the mode of passion also the mode of ignorance is there. Why they are performing under running after fruitive activities? Because they are ignorant. They don't know that fruitive activities, the result of fruitive activities are temporary. They are thinking that yes, this will give me happiness. So they are after temporary happiness means they are ignorant about the eternal happiness. So ignorance is there. That's why they are passionate, unmindful, and that's why they brings misery. And the action performed in the mode of ignorance is in foolishness. It is just nonsensical. It's meaningless. They don't have any goal at least. The passionate person have some goal. Okay, I want to achieve this. Oh, but mode of ignorance is completely ignorant in the darkness. What they are doing that they don't know. They are doing completely opposite what they are supposed to know. So this is very precarious situation. Chatta sanjayate jnanam rajashlogo evacha pramado mohotamashu bhavato jnanam evacha. So here Krishna is telling another way that from the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. And from the mode of ignorance, develop foolishness, madness, and illusion. These are the effects. What is the effects of that? So if we need to understand that what we need to shape we have to fix our goal, where we want to achieve, what we want to achieve in our life. Or we want to become greedy, more and more and more. Dil maage more. The advertisement happens like that some many years ago. So there is no end of it. Someone is having 2 BHK flat, he's not happy. For some time he's happy. Okay, then after some time he's thinking, no, 2 BHK flat is not sufficient. I want to have 3 BHK. Then after going to 3 BHK, no, 3 BHK is not sufficient. I went to 4 BHK. So there is no end. So now I have this much amount of money. No, this is okay. After some time, this is not okay. I need much more. So there is no end of it. So the passion, if one continues to stay in the passionate, lovely passion, no, that person is having a bigger car. I also want to have a bigger car. So the greed develops by seeing. So this is how there is no end of it. An ignorant person is thinking nothing. He is just completely in his own world. Uh, he is developing all sorts of bad habits and bad association and completely in different thing. This will completely ruin his life. So here Krishna summarizes. This is the very famous verse, 14.18. I don't know whether this is there for memorizing the verse. Urdham gacchanti sattastha madhyatishtanti rajasha jaganna guna vrittistha adho gacchanti tamasha. So those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live in the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish world. This is the ultimate goal. One is Krishna is explaining that what will happen when one lead the life in his present life, what is going to happen. Then Krishna says what will happen after he left the body. So that destination Krishna explained. These parts I think you have all heard many times. This verse should be alarming. These alarming words, we should be very much alert. It should make us alert that if I remain in the mode of passion, what will happen? If I remain in the mode of ignorance, what will happen? Uh, at least we have to come to the mode of goodness, and from there our goal is not to enter into any higher planet, but to go beyond. Because higher planets are also in this Brahmanda only, in the boundary of this Brahmanda. So that is also আব্রহ্মভুবনলোক পুনরাবর্তি না অর্জুন মামুপত্য we have to come to this মামুপত্য তু কন্ত পুনর্জন্ম না বিদ্যতে. That is Shuddha Sattva stage. That is where we have to go out of the boundary of this material world. So I will stop here. So any question, some quick question we can take. Time is,
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dhanvat Pranam.
you know.
Prabhu, is it the Vishuddha Sattva and Shuddha Sattva are the same?
Yes,
Or Vishuddha Sattva is
same.
more higher than?
No, same. It is the same. The words are different. Words are used. It is pure goodness without having a tinge of good passion and ignorance.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dhanvat Pranam.
Yes.
Prabhu, in verse 14.3 in the purport, Prabhupada has mentioned that into material nature, the superior nature is mixed by the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thereafter all living entities are born of this material nature. So, what is this will of the Supreme Lord? By the will of the Supreme Lord.
By the will of the Supreme Lord means Supreme Lord will is that Supreme Lord gives facilitating rebellious souls desire to lord over the material nature. So that is the will, that okay, you have rejected me, you did not want to stay with me in the material, in the spiritual world. So now, okay, I am giving you a facility. Like government is there, government facilitate the criminals in the jail. So by the will of the government, the criminals enter into the jail. The government makes that for this rebellious soul, my will is, my desire is that they should enter into the jail and get what is that called, rehabilitated again and come back to the mainstream of the society. So the arrangement has been made in the jail in such a way that they understand that they have done a mistake, they should feel, repent, and they should purify themselves. So similarly, Krishna's actual, the real will is that okay, you wanted to leave me, now you live here. L-E-A-V-E, leave me from spiritual world, now you live here for some time and you rectify your original blunder that you have done. You understand, you realize that, and you come to that spontaneous surrender, spontaneous sharanagati, spontaneous loving relationship with me again. So that is the will actually. By the Krishna's will only, see, the everything is happening. There is a one song, I think, written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, where is telling that by Krishna's will everything is happening. By Krishna's will material world is created. Krishna's will material nature is putting the living entity into this. Krishna is having, another thing is Krishna desire. Okay, Krishna is only facilitating this material world by his desire, but other thing is happy, other thing is being carried out, what I was explaining, by Lord Shiva. Krishna is not the direct executor of putting the living entity into this material world. Krishna wills, and that is what Krishna glance. So that glance, Lord Shiva facilitate the entire thing what Krishna wants. Okay, so that is how we can understand the will. Does that help, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Correct. Anything else? Actually, there are so many details I can go, but time is limited. I cannot go much detail uh, because the course time frame, according to my estimation, is little lesser. So I am also briefly going little fast in places where things are easy to understand, and Prabhupada has given simpler purport. So if anything, nothing is there, so we can end the class here. We will meet Saturday because I need another class. Hopefully on Saturday we will complete this verse and we will start. We are one class lagging according to the schedule. I don't want to be lagging. So one extra class. And Recordings are all available. I have already shared the last class recording. Today also I will share it by tomorrow, maybe. Okay. Anything, nothing else? So then we can end. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhakti Shastri study ki jai. Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna. And today is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Disappearance Day. So we should also pray that whatever we are trying to learn about Bhagavad Gita. I was reading many commentary given by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur on this particular chapter. There are books are now available. I was having the Bengali version, the Gauriya Math versions. So it was very amazing. Bengali is also very difficult to read. It is almost like Sanskrit. Bhaktivinoda Thakur's writing is also like Sanskrit. Okay. But very nice that how these previous acharyas have invested their time and energy in explaining Krishna's one word and how they are relishing. I was thinking that how much they have relished the Krishna's one word. Sometimes we think Bhagavad Gita is very primary things, very not very for the neophytes, for those who are just ABCD. It is ABCD, but in that ABCD also so much nectar is there. All the previous acharyas have given their time and energy to write commentary. So because the nectar is so much, and they have given cross reference from Chaitanya Charitamrita, from Brahma Samhita, from Bhagavatam. So if we go on to deeper and deeper, there is actually this Bhakti Shastri study, what we are doing, it is at very ABCD level actually. Actually, it is very ABCD level, but it has many other level. Prabhupada wanted to give other versions of Bhagavad Gita actually, but he didn't get the time. He was focusing on Bhagavatam. So much nectar is there. You can, if you find books are available now. So various versions, books are available. Balodar Vidyabhushan's versions, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's versions. The Bengali that I am reading, the English is also available. So you can read if you get time and if you have the interest. So it will be very nice. And you can ask questions. From that, I can also discuss something. So that I cannot cover up my own because it will take much time to go into it. I'm just, that's why, touching those main topics. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dhamma Pranam.
Pranam.
Hare Krishna.